reason I look crazier than usual is to sort of do half a skull on this side. This is going to be white. I'm going to use a glue stick to get rid of my brows. Oh, purple, nice. So I just stole my son's glue stick out of his art box, and I'm just going to put this on my brows here. They will be a little bit less noticeable. Woo! And there goes the glue. Got it. Slippery little bugger. So I'm going to go ahead and do white face paint here, and then I'm going to start sketching in the bone structure of my face, if I can find it through the Mounds bars and cheeseburgers. Starting with some white Mehron face paint and a little palette and just a regular foundation brush, the idea is to just get the white on. So we want this to be as smooth and as opaque as possible. So take your time, work it all over the area, and if you feel like you need to do a second coat, what a klutz. Anyways. Yes, my neighbors, if they had any clue that I was crazy, they know for sure by now. Here comes the second coat, trying to really get rid of the color of the skin. Checking eyebrows. They're not quite dry yet, so just go around your eyebrows while you're waiting for them to dry. And now I'm looking at a picture of a skull and using a light brown pencil, feeling my eye socket here and sketching out the area. Using this light brown pencil is really going to help us out if we make some mistakes. Really, really easy to erase, and then just go over with black later. You know, it's just sort of like starting out with a pencil on paper. You can erase it if you make any mistakes, so don't stress out about it. Feel the recesses in your face that you see in pictures of skulls. Your temple right here, you're going to see has a depression, so I went ahead and outlined that and threw in some hash marks where I felt it was extra dark. And the jaw for me was the most difficult part. I looked at pictures from the front and from the side and sort of felt around my face. That is sort of where the jaw comes down and sort of meets the cheekbone up in there. And then as a point of reference, draw the bottom line of the jaw. It really helps you to sort of know where things start and stop. So as you can see, things are starting to take shape and get a little bit freaky. I've just got my iPad here and I'm just Googling pictures of skulls. Spend time feeling around your own face. Don't be afraid if you make a mistake. Any makeup artist will tell you that they've learned 10 times more from their mistakes than they have from their victories. I don't know how many times I've gotten stuck and I've said I've ruined this. Take it a different way. Instead of doing something really realistic, turn it into a sugar skull with color or more of a impressionistic thing, and it will still turn out awesome. At this point, I've just sort of been sketching out where I want the teeth to go, where I feel like the jawbone goes, and main areas that I see in the face that have shadow. The blackest areas in the skull are here and here, and then this is also going to be really dark in through here. I'm just kind of going through with this flat synthetic brush and picking up color, using the picture as a reference and also using my face as a reference. This is sort of where everything stops back here. So this is going to be very dark, and I'm just going in lightly at first. I'm probably going to end up covering this ear entirely. Work with the lighter colors first because they're easier to erase and they're easier to cover up, and then go to your darker colors last. So I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm trying to give myself some points of reference, and I felt like the nose was important for me, the eye was important for me, and then just sort of working on this jaw shape, and then I can sort of start filling and shading. Use textures, use a cruddy brush. If you have bad brushes, save them for face painting, they're perfect for it. Use things with texture, kitchen stuff, pieces of fabric, you know, use your imagination and then see where it goes. I also have a lot of pictures of skulls going on here because I'm getting better results from looking at many pictures instead of just one. I'm taking tiny, tiny, tiny little bits of paint on here. So here is where you're really starting to darken in those edges that you worked on with that brown pencil. So taking just tiny, tiny little bits of paint, as I so obnoxiously said, just gently work along. It's going to end up being more of a gray at this point, but that's perfect because you're really sort of starting to darken in the areas. Right now I'm going along the edge of that jaw where the jawbone sort of points up at the temple, and just add a little bit more paint as you start to see that you've got the right area going on. Working along the front of the jaw now with tiny little strokes. Just keep looking at your pictures and just working along that area. And as you see that it's right, go back in and really start to darken it, add depth. Don't just paint it flat black, because shadowed areas aren't flat black. They're deeper in some areas and lighter in others. So keeping that easy principle in mind, if you just start drawing on with the dark black and start pulling it down, you'll create a natural gradient effect, which will look really cool. Just use a Q-tip to clean up any stray brush strokes. All better. So now I'm going to start working on the teeth. I'm going to choose this little brush here. It's just a flat brush. No, don't choose that brush. I hated it. Choose something smaller to work with. And then go right ahead and start focusing on areas where you'd floss your teeth. So just defining the spaces in between the teeth. You'll also notice right at the tops of the teeth, there's a little bit of a shadow in a skull. So right sort of where the tooth meets the gums. Next, use the brush to black out the inside of your lips where there is nothing in a skull. And after that, you'll notice that there are some tiny, tiny depressions in between the teeth, right underneath them on the bottom half. So in between each tooth, make a tiny little line. Then switch over to white and start coloring in your teeth. They should really start popping out at this point and looking like teeth. Okay, so here I finished the skull portion of the face. I continued to just do some shading in with dark. It wasn't looking really realistic until I added in some of the cracks. It sort of helps break it up a little bit. Maybe when I go outside, I might just literally throw some dirt on it and make it look that much better. So this side of the face, I'm planning on just making look really healthy, dewy, glowy. The kids are here, so you can hear noise. I'm going to get started with this part of the makeup. And here we go, a light paint pot by Benefit all over the eyelid, and then switching to an actual highlighter here, throwing that on the inner corner and the top of the eye to give a beautiful sheen, taking a light bronzy color in the outer corner and crease, and then a dark bronzy color right along the lash line and the crease. Using Makeup Forever HD foundation and mixed with a luminizer half and half, a Real Techniques buffing brush to get that all over the skin. Very, very dewy, nice coverage. Here's Soft and Gentle by MAC, and I'm going to heavily apply that on my cheekbones and brow area. Sophie Blush from Illamasqua, beautiful shimmery peach. To add more of a healthy glow, I used a little bit of a light Guerlain bronzer on the contours of my face. And then I switched to an eyeliner, a bronzy gold shade along the lash line, brushed up the brows, and penciled them in very, very lightly. Next, open the eyes with eyelash curlers and add a generous coat of mascara to the top and bottom lashes. Finish off the look with a luminous peachy lipstick and just a hint of lip gloss right in the center of your mouth. And now you look healthy, at least halfway, and done. We will see you for the next Halloween look.